back to our channel. Let's start with the news today. NATO Article 5 could pull the US and its allies further into the Russia-Ukraine conflict. President Joe Biden repeatedly has said the United States will not be sending troops to fight Russia in Ukraine, but vowed that the US would defend its NATO allies. As made crystal clear, the United States will defend every inch of NATO territory with the full force of American power. He reiterated in an address Thursday. The main goal of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, founding in 1949, was to foster mutual assistance in response to the Soviet Union expansion in Europe. A key component of the treaty, Article 5, covers collective defense, which means that an attack on one ally is considered an attack on all allies. Amid the current crisis, Article 5 could mandate a more direct response from the US and other treaty members if Russian aggression escalates beyond Ukraine. NATO announced last week its launch in its response force, a deployment of about 40,000 troops to provide land, air, and naval assistance across the islands. This is the first time the force has been deployed for a deterrence and a defense role, a NATO spokesperson said. Charles Kaptran, a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations and a professor of international affairs at Georgetown University, told ABC News it's impossible Article 5 could be invoked with while US and its allies are providing military aid to Ukraine. Let's say that Russia succeeds in toppling the government and it then tries to occupy and pacify Ukraine. Assuming that the US and its allies attempt to get armed to Ukraine resistance movement, there are not insignificant risks that Russia might try to indirect that flow, and that whether by design or by accident, an artillery shell or a missile or a bomb could land in Poland or another NATO country, Kamtran said. And then we are looking at the prospect of an attack on NATO territory and the potential trigger of the Article 5 collective defense guarantee, which then raised the prospect of a potential military conflict between NATO and Russia, Kaptran said. All participating countries agree to the form of a solidarity outlined in the article, making it a key component of the allies. While Ukraine is not a member of NATO, its border Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, and Romania, which are members. Ukraine has been moving toward the west and away from Russia, attempting to join both NATO and the European Union. Kaptran said its geographical location could be strategic during this conflict. In the current moment, Ukraine border with 4 NATO countries afforded 2 important advantages, Kaptran said. One is refugees are able to seek asylum in NATO country, and we are seeing hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians head west. And the other is that now that Ukraine airspace is dominated by Russia, the long border between Ukraine and NATO affords an opportunity to continue the funnel weapons and other sources of support to Ukraine. The first time Article 5 was invoked was after the terrorist attack on September 11, 2001. The alliance had already identified terrorism as a risk affecting its security in 1999. In response to the attack, NATO engaged in the fight against terrorism, launching its first operation outside the Euro-Atlantic area to patrol the skies over the US. In 2008, NATO appeared to open the door for Ukraine membership, saying it would become a member of the Allies. Despite a lack of a consensus between members, Kapchin said, NATO did not specify a pathway of a time frame for Ukraine to join allies. In 2008, the Bush administration wanted to proceed with what called a membership action plan for Ukraine and Georgia, and European partners were reluctant, in part because neither Ukraine nor Georgia was ready to join NATO, and because of concern that NATO enlargement to Georgia and Ukraine would be seen as provocative in Russia, Kapchin said. If the lack of consensus within NATO, the alliance agreed to issue a generic statement that Georgia and Ukraine would become NATO member, but didn't specify a time frame or a pathway, Kapchin said. Russian President Vladimir Putin linked the current crisis to Russia-NATO demand, including a guarantee that NATO will stop expanding to the east. In a video address days before Russia invaded Ukraine, Putin accused the US and NATO of ignoring his demand and blamed the West for the Ukraine crisis. Putin has said explicitly that he wants to see NATO military presence reduced in the eastern flank, and that would include the three Baltic countries: Poland, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, and Kapchin said. He wants to see NATO pull its capability back. One of the tragic dimensions of this conflict is that the Russian knew full well that Ukrainian membership in NATO was not under consideration. It was not on the table, and NATO governments were quite explicit about that. Nonetheless, Putin decided to invade the country, Kapchin said. It's unlikely Putin would launch an attack on a NATO ally because he would be looking at a full-scale war, he said. My guess is that he understands that this is a non-starter, Kapchin said. In addition to NATO deployment of its response force, it also said it were deploying a quick response brigade of 3,500 troops that could deploy on short notice, while the larger units gather its troops from various member nations. Our measures are and remain preventive, proportionate, and non-escalatory, a statement from NATO said last week. Kapchin said it is still unclear how far west Russia will go into Ukraine. It's conceivable that there could be a drum in Ukraine that Russia does not try to grab hold of, and Western Ukraine has generally been much more integrated into Europe than into Russia, Kapchin said. This is the end of our news today. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for our channel. Thank you for listening. Thank you.